Privileged to represent this community on your Mobile City Council, and I want to kind of set the tone for our discussion tonight by letting you know how we got here. About 2 months ago, a little over 2 months ago, the council enacted an ordinance pertaining to the 1-cent sales tax that restricted nearly 70% of the revenue generated from that sales tax to capital infrastructure improvements. What that boils down to is that for the next 3 years, beginning in 2016, there will be $3 million per council district to be expended in order to improve the community. This past fiscal year, in the entire city of Mobile, we only spent a little north of $2 million on capital resources, on capital infrastructure. A little less than, a little north of, a little more than $2 million for the entire city of Mobile. Starting next year, we're going to be spending $3 million in each council district that Africatown will give its share. The purpose of tonight is for us to really listen. We can very easily sit on the 9th floor of Government Plaza and say that Africatown is in need of this, that, and the other. Could easily do that. That isn't how I want the plan to be. I want to hear from you. What are your priorities? What are your concerns? What are the things that you see need to take place over the next 3 fiscal years relative to improving the capital infrastructure here in Africatown? We need to hear from you all. What are the priorities for the Plateau community so that we can intelligently represent that and make sure that when these monies are realized come October 1, we're ready to hit pay dirt, ready to hit the ground rolling so that you all can see something progressive happen in this community. I know eligible projects will be sidewalks, repaving, resurfacing roads and streets in the community, eradicating ditches that are in this community, seeing that this community center here is renovated and given a fresh, because it's time, updated with modern amenities and things of that nature.
My name is and I'm for the historical houses because I remember coming home one year and then we did a history of the historical houses in Plateau. And there's a lot of historical houses in Plateau that's over 100 years old. And they need to be restored. And this needs to be a place where people come and tour. I feel that we need to do the reenactment of the hotel that was done back in the 80s. They did the reenactment of the hotel. And every time somebody came from England to New York, they wanted to know where Africatown was. It's known all over the world. People come from all over the world want to know where Africatown is. I feel that Mobile, the people in Mobile, the planning commission, they're missing out on all the money. It could be money made here in Plateau with the reenactment of the cotillon. If you redo the old houses, it could be tours did here. All kinds of stuff can be done right here. Got a gold mine here. We have a gold mine right here. And we're not utilizing it. Not at all. You go any other place. I lived in Sacramento, California for 34 years. They had an old town in Sacramento. Everywhere you go in the United States, they have an old town. But they don't have an Africatown. This is the oldest community in the United States, and it's not being utilized. It needs to be utilized and money can be made here. Instead of tanks and stuff. I mean, the planning commission to me is 40 years behind because they still using coal and still, instead of using solar energy and natural gas. Solar energy in the daytime and natural gas at night. It's way behind. That's my statement.
I'm Joe Womack, born and raised right in the heart of Africatown on Center Street. The overall vision for Africatown and the community is to bring the community back, and it's coming back. No, Ms. Jackson, we can't bring back the people that's left. They're not coming back. But there are new people that will come into a good, clean community. You've seen Cleon and his crew over the last few months. They planted almost 200 trees, and this spring they're going to be beautiful. That's part of the coming back of the community. But when the community cleaning up, fixing up these old houses, that's also part of the process. It's a process. And once you fix up these houses, yes, you can attract, Africatown can attract young couples between 25 and 35, 2 or 3 children, looking for a house, $25,000, $35,000 to begin and start a life. And they're coming here, but you got to have certain things. You got to have clean areas, good paved streets. You got to have a good school where the kids can learn. In the back of the room is Mr. July, and he's doing that with Mobile County Training School. Right. They have over 250 kids today, and I attended a program, honors program, and they had almost 25 kids make the AB honor roll. Last year they had 2 before he came. Kids are learning. They will learn. They want to learn. They want to learn. All they need to be is prompted properly, and they're doing that at the school. The other thing you need, when people bring in their children, they need a good recreation area. Now, Kid Park has the name Park, Mr. Amanda, but it is not a park. It's a playground. It's always been a playground. It's not big enough. You go out there to Mills, the Municipal, the Cottage Hill, you'll see a park. It has 2 or 3 fields, baseball, football. It has a concession stand. It has an announcer's booth where they sit up and they announce all the games. They have 4 or 5 games going on at a time. That's what Africatown needs. It needs a real park.
Now, where would you place? What would you position?
Well, there's several places. Well, no, there's really only one place that's big enough.
Okay.
Okay, and you have to talk to the community to get the approval because it's been a long time since kids have played out there. I played out there when I was a kid. Cleon played football. I'm talking about right there on the grounds of the community center.
That's where we play.
That's the only place big enough. And it's big enough to do everything that you got that I just mentioned. Okay, and you can use a kids park for something else for the community. And that would be a sports complex, really. And that's what this community needs. This community got its name not only for the slaves, but for its athletic ability.
That's right. That's right.
And we can still teach that to people throughout the world, really. There's some things that we did nobody else did. And it can be done. The area that the community just fought off for the community over there in the Newport area where they wanted to rezone it. Industry is going to continue to try to come in unless we push back. Right now, the IP site is open. IP site sits at the mouth of Hog Bayou. Hog Bayou is the only part of the Tensas River Delta that connects to a black community, and it's not protected like the remaining part of the Tensas River Delta is not protected by the National Wildlife Association. Why isn't it? It's open, no industry there. We want that land before industry take it and put up another industry. We want that land. It could just like the Dead Lake Marina, it could be a RV site with boat launches, with picnic area for Mobile. It's the only part of Mobile. It's the only entrance to the Tensas River Delta for the city of Mobile. Right out there, Hog Bayou. It's a vacant IP site. Nothing there. Let's go get that land. Takes us a 3-mile clear. So let's do something positive with that area. Mobile has congested itself with the state doctrine right there on the wall. Right. The only thing it has that you can walk out is Cooper Riverside Park. What's that, 200 yards wide? We've got all this area out here that walks right up to the river. Hog Bayou, 3 Mile Creek. They're talking about doing something on the 3 Mile Creek back there by the bottom, by the campground. They won't bring it all the way up to Plateau. Bring it all the way up to Happy Hills. That's the deepest part of the 3 Mile Creek, right behind Happy Hills, right behind Lewis Quarters. Let's do something with Lewis Quarters. I know they got that paper mill in there, but let's do something with Lewis Quarters. You got those vacant warehouses right there on the bank of the 3 Mile Creek. They got one float house, everything else is vacant. They're talking about the entertainment district. It's only 1 mile from downtown Mobile within bicycle in the area. Turn it into an entertainment and restaurant area. Right there, right on 3 Mile Creek, right over that bridge and stop and look. You'll be surprised what you can see. Let the mind sort of wander. Put a restaurant. Put some entertainment down there. They talk about entertainment district during the Mardi Gras area. Time to be perfect. So there's a lot of things you can do with Africatown other than bring businesses out here and pollute the area. Especially we don't need storage tanks over there. Rather than them put storage tanks on the whole IP site, let's clear that out and use it for nature and preservation purposes. And make it part of the National Wildlife Association, just like the remainder part of the Tensar River Delta.
Our city attorney, Jim Rossler, researching that now to see exactly what routes and if it's at all possible, what sources of funding could we use to purchase that property so that we don't run into the same situation that we ran into a couple of months ago with the gentleman who wanted to build those warehouses. That was a big victory for the community getting that rejected. We got a meeting on the 29th to talk about the old storage tank farms. It's a public hearing. So I want to invite as many of you all that can to come out to that meeting, the 29th at 2 o'clock at Government Plaza. It's a public hearing. You have 5 minutes to speak what your opinion is. And I think the Planning Commission and the members of the City Council need to hear from as many residents of this community as possible that we do not want these oil storage tanks proliferated throughout our community.